Hello, welcome. If you're a regular viewer, you will know that I really enjoy using my Leica SL camera. The problem is SL lenses are expensive. Well, actually no, Leica SL lenses are expensive, but Voigtlander SL lenses are not expensive. The best news is I can get great photos from either lens. And to prove this point, here's a photo shoot I did yesterday, and here's an example photo shot with the 90mm f2.8 Voigtlander lens. We'll talk about this more as we get into the video with more example photos. Not only is this lens capable of taking really nice pictures, I think this lens is 8 times cheaper than the Leica SL 90mm f2 lens. Yes, it's not quite like for like because the SL is an f2 lens and the Voigtlander is a 2.8 lens, but if you're only looking for a 90mm focal length and perhaps you stop down anyway, you're getting an SL lens 8 times cheaper if you go with Voigtlander than if you go with Leica. Not only that, if you know anything about Leica SL lenses, they are not the smallest lens. They tend to make quite a large setup. The beauty of the Voigtlander SL lenses is they are really small. They're like smaller than some of the Leica M lenses. The 90mm, it's roughly the same size as the Voigtlander 50mm f1.2, and that's pretty compact. You can see the 90mm here next to my Voigtlander 35 1.2 version 2, and it's smaller than a 35mm lens. And the 90mm isn't the smallest lens in their lineup. I'll quickly cover all the SL lenses in this video to give you an idea of what you may be missing out on and which lenses you may enjoy using on your Leica camera. That said, you don't need a Leica camera to enjoy these lenses. These lenses are actually a native Nikon F mount, so if you shoot Nikon, you can enjoy these lenses on your Nikon film cameras or adapted to any of the digital cameras by using an adapter. Okay, so with the introduction out of the way, let me first introduce you to some of the stars of the Voigtlander SL lineup. Hi guys, Matt here from MrLeica.com. So first, Voigtlander APO-Skopar 20mm f3.5 is actually now a non-production lens, but the next 4 will be production lenses, so fear not. If you saw my last video on the Leica 3 Barnack cameras, I actually enjoy using the 20mm lens on both Barnacks and Nikon F cameras, but you can also use it on digital as well. Here's an example photo shot with the 20mm, and this is even shot on a Micro Four Thirds Lumix camera. With it being so small, it pairs well with any small camera. Lens number 2 is the Voigtlander APO-Skopar 28mm f2.8. The good news is this is a current production lens, although the copy I have is a previous version of the lens. All the current SL lenses you can buy as a black with silver nose or black with black nose, like all black. And the results are just fantastic. It'll give you modern high contrast looking images, and as I said in the last video, I use it on like a Barnack cameras as well as on digital bodies. The third Voigtlander SL lens I'm going to talk about is the Voigtlander Ultron 40mm f2. This is another super compact lens, and again you can buy the current production version of this lens in black or silver and black. Here's an example photo shot with the 40mm. I've used this lens a lot over the years, especially on my Nikon F film cameras. Yes, I do shoot Nikon film cameras, even though I call myself Mr. Leica. Next up is a popular lens for portraits. It is the Voigtlander Nokton 58 f1.4 lens. This is a cheaper alternative to the popular 50mm 1.2 and some of the other Leica M mount lenses. And if you're happy using a non-rangefinder couple lens, the 58 gives you an excellent portrait setup. It gives you that little bit more reach than a standard 50, and I find it very flattering for portraits. And then last but not least, the reason for making this video, the awesome guys at FLAGHEAD Photographic kindly sent me their new Voigtlander APO-Skopar 90mm f2.8 SL2S lens. Just to mention, all the current production lenses are called SL2S. If you go on eBay and look for older versions, they might be called SL or SL2. This 90mm lens is crazy compact and lightweight for a 90mm. And if you've been watching my channel or following the MrLeica.com blog reviews for some time, you'll remember me testing the Voigtlander 90mm APO-Skopar Leica M mount version. So you can buy the M mount version, which obviously works in all your Leica M rangefinder cameras, and then you can adapt it to digital as well, like non-Leica cameras. Or you can get the SL2S version, which will work on your Nikon film cameras, and then you can also adapt it to digital. Which one do you get? How do the prices compare? Like SL2S version, £529, which is $699 new price. M mount version, £719, which is $799. If you're using a Leica SL camera like me, or say you shoot Sony or Fuji or any other mirrorless brand, you can get either. That's the beauty of it. Both lenses are apochromatic, super duper modern, extra sharp lenses. Both of them have a close focus distance of 0.9 meters. The SL lens weighs 260 grams. M version weighs 250 grams. So they're almost the same, but they're both very light. If filter size is important to you, the SL lens is a 52mm filter, which is standard across all SL lenses. The M version is a 39mm filter, so you can use your standard 39mm filters on the M version. Let's now look at some example photos using the Voigtlander APO-Skopar 90mm f2.8 SL2S lens on my Leica SL camera. Shooting into the light with the lens, and I had no issues with flare whatsoever. And being a 90mm lens, if you are working indoors, you need to consider how much space you have. So I was standing quite far back in the room to get these shots with her kind of framed by the net curtains on her balcony. If you want to see more from that shoot, I will be sharing a full video on Patreon where I teach portraiture and lighting and all aspects of the model photography that I do. So if that sounds of interest, check the Patreon link in the description below. And let's now look at some example photos shot outside so I can see how nice the bokeh is. So for this shoot, I shot in this girl's garden. She's local to me, and we were lucky that the weather was pretty nice and it was brightish. So again, I was shooting at the light to give me kind of the hair light that you can see in the photos. And then I was giving her some fill light with a large reflector, which I had between me and the model. All of these photos I'm showing with you were shot to wide open at f2.8 and are probably at or close to the minimum focus distance of 0.9 meters. As you may know, I normally enjoy black and white photography, and so for the first shoot I shot the photos in RAW and then just applied my Leica SL black and white preset. And then for the second shoot we wanted to use the colours of the garden, and she just happened to be wearing a green top, so I flipped the photos to then be shooting in colour. Then I applied my Mr. Leica SL colour preset. I thought the colours were really nice, true to life, and yeah, depending on what preset you use, you can make them more vibrant or less vibrant to your taste. If you want to download my Leica SL preset pack, click the first link in the description below. And so the next question you probably have for me is, can I recommend this lens? I'm not really good at hiding my thoughts, so you can probably recognize from my big smile that yes, I can recommend this lens. Is it the best lens for portraits from Voigtlander? I would say no. I'd say if you want greater shallow depth of field, I think the Voigtlander 75 1.5 M mount lens is still probably the best for portraits of all the Voigtlander range that I use. And then to answer the question, is it the best 90mm for Leica shooters? Again, I would say no. If you want a small super sharp lens, say perhaps for landscapes or even for portraits, if you don't mind less bokeh in the background, this lens is fantastic. If you want a kind of killer portrait lens, I would still recommend the Leica pre-aspherical Summicron 90mm f2. That's the lens I use for portraits. And yes, it is a big heavier lens, but if that's the look you want, then you're going to have to carry a heavier lens. If you want autofocus, then you may want to look at the actual Leica SL Summicron lens, or perhaps lenses from Lumix and Sigma, for example. Let us know in the description, do you enjoy using Voigtlander SL lenses? Do let us know which focal length is your favourite. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. If you want to see more on these amazing SL lenses, watch my next video because I have done a full video on SL lenses in the past. And as always, a massive thanks to my awesome patrons. Photobooks will be going out to patrons very soon if you've placed your order. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.